I loved my husband with everything. Yet while he trusted me completely, I let his own brother cross a boundary that should never have been crossed. That first stolen kiss was no accident. It opened a door to a secret I've hidden in silence. His brother, the man who should have stood beside us, became the one I betrayed him with. Again and again. And still, my husband remains blind to the truth, holding on to a love I'm quietly destroying from the inside. I loved someone so deeply, yet shattered him in the most devastating way, through the one closest to us both. You can love someone with your whole heart and still destroy them. I know, because I did. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. Owen and I had a marriage people envied. He was the kind of husband you dreamed about. Dependable, soft-spoken, the kind who came home with flowers for no reason and rubbed your back until you fell asleep. We met during college, in a quiet corner of a campus library. I was stressed over a final, and he handed me a highlighter without saying a word. It was so small, so stupid, but it started everything. From that moment on, he became my safe place, my constant, my future. I meant every word of my vows when I said them. I meant forever. But forever doesn't protect you from the demons that live in your own skin. Aaron, Owen's older brother, wasn't anything like him. He was chaos wrapped in charm, a smirk always playing on his lips, eyes that laughed even when his mouth didn't. He had a checkered past, bars, flings, a job history like confetti in the wind. The first time I met him, he made a crude joke and slapped Owen on the back like they were still teenagers. I didn't like him. He made me uncomfortable. But the truth is, they were close. Closer than most brothers I'd seen. Owen always defended Aaron, even when it didn't make sense. He covered for him when he got into trouble, lent him money he knew he'd never see again, and took his late-night calls like it was his responsibility to fix him. They had shared bunk beds growing up, football bruises in high school, and a father who left too early. Owen always said Aaron was the only family he had that truly knew him. He said Aaron had been there for him during their mom's cancer, during the time I was in the hospital after the miscarriage, during every hard moment life had thrown at us. Aaron may be a mess, he used to say with a grin, but he's my mess. And I destroyed that bond from the inside out. Owen had to travel for work. A new position, bigger pay, more responsibility. It meant a few weeks away every couple months. We needed the money. I supported him fully. I packed his bags, kissed him goodbye at the airport. Aaron stopped by that first time Owen left. He said he was just checking in, making sure I was okay alone. He brought over takeout and beer, and we sat in the living room awkwardly. I drank faster than I meant to. He made me laugh despite myself. It felt innocent. The next time Owen left, Aaron came by again. Then, again, it wasn't a plan. It wasn't premeditated, but it also wasn't an accident. I remember exactly what I was wearing the night it happened. A gray t-shirt with a faint coffee stain near the hem, baggy sweatpants I'd worn 3 days in a row. I hadn't even showered. My hair was tied in a limp knot, my face bare, skin oily from the long day. I wasn't trying to be seen, but he saw me anyway. Aaron was sitting on one of the kitchen stools, elbows on the counter, a beer sweating in his hand. Owen had gone out for a late run. He always ran at night, headphones in, chasing the silence. I remember the air felt too still that evening, like the house had inhaled and forgotten how to exhale. I moved around the kitchen like I always did, collecting dishes, loading the dishwasher, wiping crumbs off the counter. Nothing out of the ordinary. But something shifted, subtle but seismic, in the way Aaron looked at me. His eyes followed me differently, lingering, hungry, like I wasn't just his brother's wife anymore, like I had become something else, something available, something his. I should have told him to leave. I should have walked upstairs. I should have said no. But I didn't. I didn't even flinch when he stood and walked around the counter. I didn't move when he stopped behind me, close enough for me to feel his breath on my neck. And when his hand brushed my hip, I didn't push it away. I froze. not in fear, in anticipation. I could have stopped it there. I could have said Owen will be home any minute. I could have turned and walked away. But I didn't. I let him stay there. Then I let him trace my waist with his hands. I let him pull me closer. I remember muttering under my breath something about Owen. I remember turning around, kissing him first. I remember him kissing me back, harder. God, I remember all of this like it was yesterday. I wish I could say it felt like a mistake, like something I regretted instantly. But it didn't. It felt like falling into fire, hot and reckless, all-consuming. There was no gentleness, no tenderness, only heat and guilt, and the kind of desperation that makes your hands shake and your stomach clench. He backed me up against the fridge. The handle dug into my spine. My hands were in his hair. I don't remember how long it lasted. A minute, 5, an eternity. But I remember the second it ended. The weight of it. He pulled away, eyes glazed, lips parted, and for a second, I saw it. Regret. Or maybe just the thrill of taking something that didn't belong to him. I stood there in silence, heart hammering so hard I thought I'd collapse. The kitchen smelled like sweat and betrayal. My shirt was wrinkled from where his fists had gripped it. The door opened. Owen. My skin crawls every time I recall this part. If it had lasted a second longer, if I didn't push him off the minute I did, Owen would have walked in on us, his wife and his brother. I darted past Aaron like a ghost and ran upstairs, locking the bathroom door behind me before Owen could even say hello. I stood under the shower until the water ran cold. I scrubbed every inch of my skin, my neck, my chest, my lips, until they burned. I used body wash until the bottle ran empty. I shampooed my hair 3 times, but I couldn't get it off. Him. I couldn't scrub away the memory of his mouth. I sat on the tile floor, knees pulled to my chest, shivering under the water like a sinner at a baptism. Except there was no salvation coming. And when I finally crawled into bed, Owen was already asleep. He had folded down the blanket for me. He'd turned on the little lamp beside my side of the bed, the one I always forgot. He even left my favorite hoodie on the pillow. I looked at him, this man who knew nothing, who trusted me like a heartbeat, and I felt sick, violently sick. I laid beside him, facing the wall, hands curled into fists. The scent of his shampoo filled the space between us. Familiar, warm, safe. I didn't sleep. I cried. Quietly, silently. I whispered apologies into the darkness that he would never hear, swore it was a one-time thing. I promised myself it would never happen again. I made 100 silent vows under my breath. This is the end. You'll never do this again. You love Owen. You love your husband. You're not this person. But deep down, I knew. I knew I had opened a door that would never fully close again. And I knew the worst part wasn't what I had done. It was how badly I wanted to do it again. Aaron came back. Of course he did. And I let him in. We started making rules, only when Owen was away. No texting, no overnights, just physical. But rules mean nothing to a wildfire. Every time I thought I had it under control, I'd get a text. You up? Or miss me? And my stomach would twist into something feral. I wanted him. Not just the sex, but the danger, the thrill of it. And God, the way he looked at me, like he knew every dirty corner of my soul and loved it anyway. And then, the family dinners. Aaron, sitting at the same table with Owen, laughing about childhood stories. Me, pouring wine and pretending my heart wasn't beating out of my chest. His knee brushing mine under the table, our eyes meeting across the room. No one knew. No one suspected. Not Owen. Not his mother. Not even when I started pulling away from everyone, claiming stress, headaches, needing to go for walks alone. I hated myself. But I couldn't stop. I tried. I'd tell Aaron it was over, that I couldn't do this anymore. He'd nod, say he understood, then show up the next week, and every time I let him in, my body betrayed my mind over and over, and the longer it went on, the more twisted I became. I couldn't even look Owen in the eyes during our anniversary dinner. He gave me a necklace. I gave him a lie. Aaron never pressured me. That was the worst part. He never demanded anything. He just existed like gravity, pulling me always. I told myself I was still in control. I wasn't. One night, Owen came home early. His schedule changed. I wasn't expecting him until the next day. Aaron had just left. There were 2 glasses in the sink. The scent of his cologne still lingered in the hallway. Owen kissed me on the cheek, told me he missed me, then looked around. "Were you with someone?" he asked. My heart stopped. I laughed, said no, said I'd had wine alone, lied about something like picturing to be with him, like how the other glass was me playing pretend it was his, like he was there with me. He nodded, kissed me again. I spent the night shaking. Owen made love to me that night, and I cried after he fell asleep. It's been over a year, and I still haven't stopped. I want to, desperately. I avoid Aaron. I don't respond. I keep telling myself I'm done, and then I see him, at a barbecue, or he drops something off at the house, and we're alone for 30 seconds too long, and I fall again. I'm living 2 lives. In one, I'm a wife, a daughter-in-law, a good woman. In the other, I'm the worst thing you can imagine. And no one knows. I know it will destroy everything if it comes out. I know it will kill Owen. And still, I can't seem to bury this monster inside me. I want someone to stop me. I want someone to find out. But until that happens, I'll keep pretending. Keep smiling. Keep rotting behind my own lips. And every time Aaron walks through our door, I know exactly how the night will end. And I let it. God help me. I let it. Last night was different. We were in the kitchen again. Same place it started. I was shaking before he even touched me. But I didn't stop him. After, I turned away. Couldn't look at him. I told him it was the last time, that I was done. He stared at me for a long moment, then said, "You always say that." I didn't respond, just picked up my shirt and walked upstairs. This morning, Owen was in the shower. I stood in the doorway and watched the steam curl around him. I thought about telling him everything, about falling to my knees and begging him to forgive me, but I didn't. Instead, I made coffee. I packed his lunch. I kissed his cheek. And when he smiled at me and said, "Love you," I forced the words out of my mouth. "Love you too." Then I walked upstairs, sank to the floor of our quiet room, and let the silence swallow me whole. Because if I can't confess to him now, maybe one day the ache will speak for me, even if it shatters what's left of me.